What is up, everybody, NC?
JC and
We got a Triple H is a bad booker on him making Sami Zayn the world champion. Now, don't get me wrong, we're well aware that Sami won't hold the title too long. Maybe 2 weeks, a month if we're lucky. He's not going to be a long-term champion, but just the fact that he made a guy like this transitional champion goes to show me that this is the Triple H era of him giving participation awards to all his favorite NXT darlings. The only ones that really didn't make it out as champs, I guess, would be Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. One of them's over in AEW and the other one's waiting to go. But besides that, all his other black and gold darlings became the big one, became the top champ. It goes to show you that he always gets his way, always.
Mm-hmm. He always gets his way, but I mean, like, I'm wondering, like, what the heck, like, why now? Like, why is all this having to happen now? Why is he? It's almost like he's rushing to make all his favorites, all his darlings, champions now.
That's what it feels like too. It really feels like it's all an acceleration because we've heard the rumors for the longest time that his plan was to either have Sami Zayn win the Royal Rumble over in Saudi or compete for the title over in Saudi. And he jumped the gun. He's like, you know, we got all these Saudi shows. We got one over at Night of Champions. Let's give Sami the belt now.
Yep.
And it really feels like he's been given an ultimatum. Like, hey, your time in office is numbered. Why don't you go ahead and do what you got to do before you have to clean out your desk? And that's what it almost feels like. Because we've seen all his favorites get skyrocketed to the top. Every one of them has been protected. He's got his way for the longest time, and he keeps on getting it, even though the ratings are dropping dramatically. So, and you know it's not going to be much better. Sami Zayn will probably get a little bit of a bump on SmackDown, you know, just because people want to see what it's like with the new champion. But when you have a man that is, I hate to say it, more boring than Cody. Like, Sami has the potential to be more entertaining, but the character they have him with is stupid. You can't get behind the underdog that beats everybody, just saying.
Well, you really can't. I mean, in Super Sami, I mean, people hated it already. They're just going to hate this even more. Like, that's the problem is, like, they're going to start booing him again. Now, and the thing about it is that, like, they were, like, kind of sort of playing him off as a heel, but yet now he's a babyface. Like, they don't know what he's supposed to be. Is he a babyface? Is he a heel? What is he? I think he's a bum, but, you know, like, people may, you know, people may, like, want to delude themselves into thinking that, oh, he's a Triple Crown champion, therefore he's earned it. First off, we have lowered the bar. We have allowed the bar to get lowered so far in pro wrestling to where people like Sami Zayn could be the world heavyweight champion. Sami Zayn, like, there are people in the crowds of these shows that look like they could beat the shit out of Sami Zayn. And yet this guy's the world champion.
Well, that's why it frustrates us, you know, that's why we always rant on guys like JD. Because JD is the type of guy who is still supporting Sami Zayn. He's like, Sami Zayn deserves to hold this title. This is Sami's time. No, it's you, like, even as the most hardcore Sami fan, you have to know that this is not a long-term championship run.
It's not.
Especially if they're really bringing CM Punk over to SmackDown. He has no chance in hell of holding that title much longer than a month. You have so many sharks at the top. I mean, you got Gunther, you got Cody, and you got Punk. And let's face it, if we go in the pecking order, Triple H is loving all of them before he loves Sami.
No, I mean, he's loving them too, absolutely. But, you know, we also got to point out about, like when the ratings decline, because, like, the ratings have been declining for WWE ever since, like, 1999, like, towards the, like, 2000 is when they really started to slowly dip. But when you look at the ratings from 2017 to now, that's when you see the biggest dip along that timeline. That's when you see the biggest dip. What happened in 2017, right around that time? You had a bunch of these NXT black and gold darlings flooding the main roster.
And remember, we were trying to tell people Triple H is making the main roster into NXT. And they said, you guys are fucking retarded. Look at all the top stars they got. And they never even paid attention to all the seeds that Triple H was planning because a lot of them just, they don't pay attention to that stuff. We pay attention to everything. And we were paying attention to Triple H when he was trying to breed new talent, which he didn't. He just brought in a bunch of indie and New Japan bums. That's the whole thing about Triple H. He has never tried to really make new talent or young talent. No. That's all Shawn Michaels. Triple H, all he does is just sign overrated indie bums like Mason Rook and Naraku and hope for the best. These aren't
Right.
spring chickens. These aren't new talents. They're people that have been on the indies for a little bit. Now, Mason's on the young side, but dude, look how disgusting he is. There's a
Right.
reason why he got big on the indies, is because physical appearance doesn't matter on the indies, which it should, but it doesn't.
Yeah, to quote Jim Cornette, he looks like a human waterbed,
Goddamn!
God damn. Well, it just and that's the thing, man. Like we could sit here and say till the cows come home, right? That looks don't matter. It doesn't matter what you look like, so long as you have the wrestling skill. The problem with it is that pro wrestling has always been and it will always be a visual form of entertainment. It's not like the UFC where it's largely determined by athleticism and skill. Pro wrestling is entirely predetermined. And the average person in society, they know that wrestling is fake. They know it's fake, but it needs to look somewhat believable. You can suspend that disbelief, and we saw it in the Attitude Era. We saw it to some extent in the Ruthless Aggression Era. Is that disbelief can be suspended? Sami Zayn cannot suspend that disbelief. What Sami Zayn is going to do is appeal to the existing fan base, and I don't want to hear that WWE, they're not trying to cater to casual fans. That's bullshit. As evidenced by the fact that they're constantly bringing in celebrities. They're bringing in, well, Logan Paul, of course, but they're also bringing in all those rappers. Travis Scott, they brought in, Little Yachty.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there you go. So, like, for anybody saying that they're not trying to cater to casuals, why are they bringing in celebrities?
Well, not only that, but you even have the former world champion Cody Rhodes, who has gone on record a couple times now saying that looks do matter in wrestling. And he flat out said, you know what?
Mm-hmm.
If I'm looking like crap, body shame me all you want. That's
Yeah,
what I'm here for. I'm a pro wrestler. I will say I respect that about Cody. But when you have the world champion say that, why are the fans forgetting what he said? Why are they going back to, now let's just have Sammy as our guy? Because when it comes down to it, these fans, they don't care about physical appearance. They don't care about star power. They don't care about moving merch because they're very selfish people. These are the same people that say ratings don't matter. That's
Right.
why they don't care that Sammy looks like a bum. They don't care that he's nothing more than a work rate machine. They don't care about anything else but just those because they are very selfish people. At the end of the day, they want less, not more fans. That's why they shouldn't be listened to. We're the opposite. We
Right.
want more fans. We want everybody watching, if possible. Even if they're just goofing on it and saying pro wrestling is some fake, goofy bullshit,
It's like we're in the Attitude Era.
keep your eyes on it. That's all we ask.
That's the thing, is that like even back in the Attitude Era with the Aggression Era, you had people like normies in society. They were calling wrestling goofy even back then. Like that's the thing, but at least it was getting somewhat of the mainstream to tune in because of the star power, sure, but it was also the product itself. Is that the wrestlers that they were featuring looked like they could kick your ass. They looked like athletes. They looked like professional wrestlers. I'm sorry, you could say you could lie to yourself all you want that looks don't matter and it doesn't matter what you look like. All that matters is your in-ring skill. But quite frankly, at the end of the day, we're talking about the WWE here. If you want to keep these people on the indies, totally fine. The WWE is the most widely watched, widely seen public example of what professional wrestling is. And when professional wrestling looks like Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, when it looks like Mason Rook, Naraku, Shinsuke Nakamura, CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, when it looks like this, people are gonna especially not take it seriously and will just tune out entirely. As we've seen, you could put all the celebrities in the world you want in there, the biggest celebrities, you name them, put them on Raw. You're not going to see the number go up.
Well, then you'll have these dork fans that don't know any better. They'll say, yeah, Roman's a huge draw for Raw, isn't he? Brock doesn't have the drawing power he used to. And you try telling them it's because of this big-nosed idiot that you're seeing on the screen. Because of him, what he does is he takes people who are red hot or who have momentum behind them, and he 50-50 books them. Or he books them like shit. Or he gives them shitty storylines to the point where they don't have the prestige that they once had under Vince. Under Vince, those talents, Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, even John Cena, were people that could average a $3 million on a Raw, no problem. But once you got Vince out of power and you got his favorites out of power, his star building power out of power, once you got all of that out of power and you put this big nose, indie loving Mark into power, what you got is you got these lack of draws, these people that can't sell out arenas. And that's the thing too, is it goes off a hype. Yeah, it was great when CM Punk first returned. He had that little bump of hype. Now he's a
Mhm.
fucking nobody because of
Mhm.
Noseman. Noseman
Yep.
doesn't know how to book him. Even Punk, he's letting it be known on these cage fighting shows that he's not happy where he's at. When he's saying Terry Funk quotes, which is totally Markish, by the way, but when he's saying Terry Funk quotes and saying, yeah, my horse is sick, maybe I'll show up on Friday, he's not happy where he's at.
No.
And I really believe the rumors too that the Raw locker room was so disenfranchised with him, they hated him so much that he had to go over to SmackDown for a new beginning of sorts. Will that work out? Probably not. There's still a lot of egos, especially Cody. I don't think Cody and Punk are going to be super tight when they're politicking for the top role. I'm just saying.
No, they're not. And I mean, and you, it's like that old saying. It's like, show me your past and I'll show you your future. What we've seen from CM Punk all the time is, in it, whether it's in AEW, whether it's in WWE, he always does this. He wants to be the top dog. He wants to be the one who's got the most amount of respect, and he wants his voice to be heard on creative all the time, every time. And that's the problem. Is that, like, and I'll be real. I do think that CM Punk on creative would do a better job than this big nose dumbass we're talking about, or that we're looking at right here. I think he would do a better job. And I do think that there are some arguments that CM Punk makes that are reasonable in pro wrestling. I really do. That said, you've got to be a professional. You can't be doing this. And like, if see it, like, I really wish CM Punk, if he really was about the professionalism of professional wrestling, he should come out and say, about Sami Zayn, maybe call me old fashioned, but I prefer my world heavyweight champions to look the part.
Fair point, but even with Punk, I mean, up until now, he was always a skinny, fat guy. I mean, up until just recently, he started doing a lot of juice and TRT,
Mm-hmm.
allegedly. It looks like it. And he's put on a lot of muscle mass. Why? Why is he so, as of right now, why is he so concerned about his physical appearance? I'm led to believe that he wants to look like a TKO representative. He probably realizes that there's going to be a changing of the guard. He's going to hold on to his spot and do whatever he can. If that means him getting jacked to the fucking gills, he'll do it
Mm-hmm.
to be the top guy, to be a draw under TKO. And I think that's what he's going to do. He's going to really do anything he can to leverage himself in that company. And if it means Triple H getting ousted, maybe because of him or collaboration of people, it could happen. But one thing I will just let him know is Triple H is way more loved than Punk. Triple H is a daddy to a lot of those wrestlers back there,
Well,
literally.
Triple H is, but like, we got to briefly look at what happened with TNA with Tommy Dreamer and the reason why he got fired. The reason why he got fired, I mean, all you really have to do is look at the ticket sales for Slammiversary last year and this year. And when you're like selling less than half of what you did last year, and your company is not selling tickets that it used to, there becomes a good excuse to fire that person. And so I think the very same thing could happen to Triple H. Just because he signed this contract extension does not mean he's safe. If WWE starts having massive ticket problems, even with cutting the prices, they may be looking at changing creative. Mark Shapiro's already come out and said, we ultimately run creative. Well, yeah, they ultimately run creative because they make the final decisions, because they own the company. So what they're doing is they're letting Triple H do his thing, like what we're seeing now. But at the end of the day, if they feel like they need to step in and interject, they'll do it, as they will with Pat McAfee, as we saw. So I almost feel like the writing is on the wall, and they're probably looking at selling this thing.
I mean, who knows what could happen with the future of WWE? I don't think Triple H has much of a future, and the reason why
No.
is because he's making a guy like Sammy world champion. I don't think it's going to last very long, but this shows you that Triple H is very much trying to get his shit in. Sammy will not do much for the numbers at all. If anything, it's going to get to the point with, if you have Sammy and Cody trading the belt back and forth, it's going to be like 900, 800,000 for SmackDown. Punk might
Yep.
bring it up by 100,000 fans, but in his head, he thinks he's this massive draw. He is not. You take, and you really look at SmackDown too. Look at the fact that they've had pretty much all hands on deck on SmackDown. It's still a terrible show, mind you. Still very unwatchable, but they've loaded it up with just about all these top stars to get people to watch. I mean, they've even practically ended the brand split. You have stars just willingly going back and forth for these fucking tournaments. So it's a situation that I think that they're getting really desperate. I think you're going to see a couple things that lead to Triple H leaving before he leaves. You're going to see probably Michael P.S. Hayes be the fall guy on Unreal Season 3. I think that's something you could see. I think that they're eventually going to silently end the brand split and just have stars back at quote-unquote stars back and forth on each brand just to try to get people to watch more. And they already are doing that more often, but I think they're going to do it even more often. You're going to see a lot more TKO type moves with them bringing in celebrities and trying anything they can. I mean, just recently they tried it with Eric Andre, even though he's kind of, nobody gives a shit about Eric Andre right now, but they tried it with him. They're not going to stop trying. If they realize that there's a celebrity that likes pro wrestling and is willing to give their time and effort towards pro wrestling, they'll give them a spotlight. They're all about that because they realize that at the end of the day, if they can get even a fraction of that fan base, like with Logan Paul's, for example, if they can get even a fraction, they're going to go for it. That's why they're talking to iSpeed and trying to get him to go full time. They're doing anything they can to save the company and look at the longevity. They're almost trying to look past Triple H. I know like a lot of people are in the present. You got to look at where they're going and the moves that they're making and the talent they're signing and the people they're talking to. That's what it all has to deal with.
Well, I mean, Triple H has to be costing the company money, like in order for him to be fired, like to be outright just. And I think they'll do it like what they did with TNA. It's like they're going to say like there's an amicable splitting of the ways. Triple H is so exhausted and tired. They're going to try to babyface it to make Triple H look good in the firing. But if that happens, just know that Triple H would be getting fired in that circumstance. So it's possible. It really is. And you're seeing the ticket sales for WWE. They're not what they used to be. They picked up a little bit as we're heading into SummerSlam, but what are they going to be like in the fall,
Well, that'd be crazy. Spring cleaning next year, and you see Triple H's name on the list with all his top. We see people like, can you imagine spring cleaning next year, TKO style? You got Sami Zayn, KO, Shinsuke Nakamura, Triple H, Bronson Reed. And that's just 5 people. Like, we could go for like 20 or fucking 30. Oh, yeah. But like Solo Sikoa, his little jobber group. There's so much cutbacks they can do. End the fucking brand split, have them go back and forth in both shows, keep a core roster of 40. That's all you need.
Yeah, and I think that what TK will start doing within a few months from now, you're gonna see I call them the fall cuts, and they happened under Vince McMahon back in 2022. No, the fall of 2021. My bad. They did a massive amount of cuts, and I think they're gonna do the same thing in the fall. Expect another round. Like I'm expecting another round of cuts right around October, November. And it's going to be a lot. It's going to be Gargano. It's going to be a ton of people. Like, you're going to see a lot of people let go. And Triple H could be aware of this. He could be well aware of potential cuts that are going to need to be made. And he's going to have to choose a few of his guys that he may not want to let go. I think Damian Priest will be one of them. I think R-Truth, unfortunately, will be one of them also. Yeah, I just think that's where this is ultimately leading in the fall. But with Sami Zayn and putting the title on him, again, what the fuck does this do for viewership? What does this do for the casual fan who wants to who may want to tune back in and they see that Sami Zayn is the world champion? It's ridiculous. It's a really big ask, and and for the viewer. But Sami Zayn can go on social media, and he already did. He went on some podcast and he said, I don't look like the wrestlers in the past did. It's a certain expectation. Well, Sami, you're not going to change it overnight. That's the problem, is that you may want to change it because of the way you look, Sami, but you ain't going to change it overnight. There's a lot of people where we've been programmed, true, to expect a heavyweight pro wrestler, the world heavyweight champion, to look a certain way, and you look like a bum that would be begging me for change on the way to Starbucks. That's what you look like, Sami.
Well, respect is earned through discipline. He has none. That's a big thing. That's the whole reason why Kevin Owens got so much shit when he was world champion, because he has an incredible lack of discipline. Is the talent there for Sami and KO? You better believe it. I will never discount that those men are very talented. But are they undisciplined? Of course. And we hold it to Triple H, this motherfucker right here, because when he brought them into NXT, they weren't running the same drills that all the other PC students wore. They got to sit in the corner and play Game Boy while Bill DeMott fucking screamed and embarrassed these other wrestlers because they were primo indie talents that knew what they were doing. So they weren't forced to get into shape. They weren't forced to up their endurance or do any of this other shit. They literally just got to walk in, do a couple wrestling spots, and then go play video games while everybody else were sweating and bleeding. That's how it was. And the one thing I can give to Triple H, at least from a corporate standpoint, is he likes lowballing the fuck out of talent. So he lowballs talent like crazy, and he signs a lot of dirt cheap talent like Naraku and Mason Rook.
Mm-hmm.
Nobodies. He loves signing nobodies, and even that Lizzie Rain chick loves signing nobodies because they're dirt cheap and they will just want to be in WWE for the opportunity. So that's the one good thing about Triple H. At the same time, though, if you go with that type of mentality, you're going to catch a lot of shitty fish. You're not going to catch, some primo tuna. You're going to be catching those gutter fish. And he's got a
Well,
lot of gutter fish that Vince had to cut.
the problem with it is that if you go in that direction, where are the megastars who are going to help you sell ass loads of tickets?
I mean, you could get lucky. You could get lucky and find a good, cheap indie guy who
But you
puts
got
in
to
the
build them up.
discipline. Exactly. And puts in the hard work and becomes somebody more. You could get that. I've seen it done before. It's not far fetched. Mostly what we see in WWE is PC talents that were, they were gymnasts or athletic, some sort of athletic field, bodybuilding, whatever. They come in and they kick ass like Obafemi, Tiffany Stratton, Braun Breaker. Those are a good example of that. But don't get me wrong. There have been indie talents that built up journeyman style and then got to the big leagues and put in the time and effort to become stars. So it can happen. But with Triple H, he's getting the lowest of the low. When I see Naraku and Mason Rook, these aren't people that have discipline at all. Like, look how fat and gross they are. Like, really, the only reason why Naraku got a job is because he is married to Io Sky.
Mhm.
It was almost like a sympathy job,
Well, there's that, but then there's also the whole New Japan connection. They feel like he's paid his dues and he's got the work rate. Like, I guess they feel like there's a lack of men in NXT who have work rate. And so if you bring in new Raku, you're bringing in a guy who's got the in-ring ability already, who could help a lot of the up-and-coming talent. Like, I get all that. But the problem with it is, like, I mean, I could even look up Naraku's. Like, how old is this guy, Naraku? I'm actually curious. Naraku, WWE. How old is he?
I'm going to guess 37.
You're wrong.
What?
He's 39.
Whoa, what an old fuck. Bro, why are we bringing in nearly 40-year-old men for developmental? You're telling me that there's nobody with tenure at 33 or 34 or even 35 that you got to bring in? You got to bring in an almost 40-year-old guy? Good Lord. It's not developmental if you're bringing in almost 40-year-old guys. I mean, fuck, Jey Uso is 40. Look at most of the main card. They're in their 40s.
In 16 years from now, Naraku will be able to he'll be able to fucking qualify for AARP. I mean, that's how old Naraku is. That's how, like, this is the problem, is that, like, none of these people are the future. Mason Rook, I'm sorry, he's almost 30. To quote Cornette, he looks like a human waterbed. I mean, you can't take him seriously. What will happen is any casuals that are watching, when they see Mason Rook, they're gonna go, or Sami Zayn is the world champion, they're gonna go, this is wrestling. Like, this is what the world champion looks like. Fuck this. Click.
Well, Triple H, what he loves doing is he loves signing these indie vets who are already past the prime and already beat to shit. He did that with Johnny Gargano, did that with Tommaso Ciampa, Adam Cole, Shinsuke Nakamura. These guys were already beat the fuck up when he brought him in, and then he beat him up even more. Can you imagine Naraku once he's main roster ready in 3 years? He's already going to be way past his prime, going to look like shit, probably have injuries. That's my whole thing about getting older talent is, don't get me wrong, sometimes they can go the LA Knight route and really be tremendous talents. But even then, we'll look what Triple H did with LA Knight. They can actually be successful talents. But no, a lot of times these older talents, especially once they get past 40, they become broken down. The injuries start wearing on them. And especially doing that type of style that WWE does, it's not beneficial for anybody.
No, it's not beneficial for anybody, and this is going to be the problem. I'm telling you right now, if anything gets Triple H fired, it's going to be the lack of megastars. Like, they can't, like, you can bring back Enzo, great. That's not going to help you replace Roman Reigns or John Cena or Brock Lesnar. Like, Enzo's great. I love Enzo Amore. Fantastic, amazing personality. Great in that regard. He's not going to replace your megastars when they go. Neither will Sami Zayn, neither will Kevin Owens, neither will Naraku, neither will Mason Rook. They just ain't going to replace him. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, I hate to say it, Sammy and KO are getting to that part where they're almost past their prime, if not already there. It feels like, especially with the gray beards and everything, like these guys are old, man. If there were a WCW around, they'd already be there. But no, it's just like they're already past their prime. This is what we got. And Triple H, he loves doing that. He doesn't love cultivating youth. He just likes going off of indie hype. This is why he's an awful booker. This is why he can't book. This is why anybody who sticks up for him is a fucking retard and should not be listened to. Especially like saying, "Oh, I'm so glad Sami won the title. He deserves it, bros." How old are you?
Right.
And you're talking about somebody winning a fake participation award. The titles don't mean shit anymore. When somebody becomes a Triple Crown champ, I'm like, great, you aren't Shawn Michaels, you're not Hulk Hogan, you're not Bret Hart. Who gives a shit?
What does that do for bringing in casuals?
Titles do not matter. They never do. And the only reason a title would matter is if you put it on somebody who's already a draw to begin with. Titles do not make draws, and they never will.
No, I mean, and the only way, I mean, they can, if you give like a Roman Reigns like super long title reign, you could do that. Like that can help make him like larger than life, but it takes two to tango with that. You need Roman Reigns also to help that title get over. You do that with Sami Zayn, no one's gonna give a shit, you know?
They'll probably get even more pissed off and go back to Sammy Hogan and Super Sammy. Especially if he goes more than a month, you're going to start seeing people say that. I think that right now they're just happy for him. And good, Sammy, have your time in the sun, but it's not going to be long. I mean, no. It has nothing to do with your talent level or who you are. It has to do with the fact that Triple H has stacked all the chips on SmackDown. And when you have an ego like CM Punk, good luck. I guarantee you, with KO and Sami Zayn backstage and the problems that they had with CM Punk back in the day, I think that old habits are going to revisit, just saying.
I think so too, man. I think so too. I think that you're probably going to see CM Punk take another absence. I think he'll play, oh yeah, I'm such a good guy. I'm getting along with everybody on SmackDown. Give it by WrestleMania of next year. I think you'll see CM Punk take another very long high. I mean, he'll probably be gone from the company at that point. My guess is if Vince comes back, he's gone from the company.
I think it might be a situation where if Triple H continues to piss him off, he's going to be gone.
Yeah,
because that's the thing. That's the thing is I really think that Triple H and him are not friendly right now, and what Punk believes is he got caught into the belief that Triple H actually cares about him. Triple H doesn't care about you. He's using you. And that's what he does, is he uses these names, especially if they never liked him or he didn't make them. He's just using Punk for his IWC leverage. That's what it all comes down to. And when Punk has no IWC leverage, off you go. Go retire. That's what he'll say to him.
And they're probably going to do. But again, that's another big loss in terms of ticket sales. Like they can't afford to be losing Punk and Brock and Roman. Like, who do you have left? You got Cody Rhodes left. Like, he's going to be a major ticket mover for you. We've already got the proof that he's not with WrestleMania Night 1 this year. They had to mark those tickets down 25%.
I mean, you can hope for the best with Drew McIntyre. You can maybe put LA Knight into a position where he's, in some sort of power, which he won't. But that's the thing, too, is like the two people that we're recommending, like LA Knight and Drew McIntyre, he hates them. He's not going to use them.
Well, I'm telling you, I think that's what will do it. I think that's what will force TKO to fire this big-nosed idiot is when all the megastars are gone. You could bring in Enzo, but Enzo's not Roman Reigns. Enzo's not John Cena or CM Punk or Randy Orton or any of them. Like, he's not at that level. He's entertaining for sure. But when all those megastars are gone, he's going to be left with all the mid-carders. He's going to be left with everybody else. And when the ticket sales are down massively, they're going to be asking him, okay, what the fuck's going on, Nose Man? What's going on? Why are the tickets sell? Like, even though we've cut the ticket prices in half, we're not even filling out half the arenas. What's going on? It rained outside that one time, and people said, I didn't want to go, the weather, I don't know. Like, he's going to come up with every fucking bullshit, dumb excuse he can possibly come up with. It's not going to work. If you're not selling tickets, you're gone to DKO. Like, that's the thing is that, like, I think that's going to be what gets him fired is the lack of ticket sales because there's no star power. When Punk is gone and when Roman's gone and Brock's gone, they're fucked.
Could be. Thank you, everybody, for joining us on this. NC.
JC End.
Peace out.